what to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
That was great sounds of Watts with Outside and WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. EZ BlueZ, you are better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on the show?
We're going to go in the Wayback Machine. When we were all in, we'll say, the high school era, there was one particular song about being a candle on the water. Being a candle on the water is a love for you will always grow. And for that, candles have always been so important in the universe, whether it be to light our way from point A to point B, whether it be to make sure we can see what we're trying to read, or whether it's for those wonderful intimate reasons where the candle and the wax is, well, spicy. Candles are important, and for that and that alone, I want you to put your hands together for the amazing, the incredible, the absolutely fantastic Rachel from Candle Witch Incorporated. Welcome, Benvenue. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, for the people who did not play the home game, you make candles. What is that like, and why have you decided to start making and reproducing candles?
Yeah, so let's see. I'm gonna have to backtrack 4 years ago plus. I just came up with a concept of wanting to do candles as part of relaxing the mind, getting into the mood, settling down, whether it's, putting makeup on, doing yoga, if you're reading, anything like that. Just, kind of if you meditate, things like that. I did it many, many years ago. And it was a success. A lot of people liked it. It was kind of like a side project that I worked on while going to school to be a professional makeup artist and all that. And then and fast forward, it wasn't until so I was doing makeup full time with MAC Cosmetics. And then during COVID, unfortunately, when everything got shut down, I was furloughed for 7 months. So it was kind of like a project I went back to, and I had time to fully focus on it. So I got my pen and paper and came up with an entire new concept, and I had a name and all these ideas that I wanted to do. And Candle Witch Co. launched in 2020 with, a photo shoot in the graveyard, kind of more, spooky, witchy vibe to it, putting my twist on things, and it blew up.
Well, that's awesome. And it's very super interesting, actually, coming from New England, where there is this really incredible witchy vibe in certain places where you have like how stunningly beautiful the colors of the trees get during the fall and those different type of aspects of it. How much influence is that into your brand itself? Obviously, it's Candle Witch. Obviously, your first photo shoot was at a graveyard. But how deep does the witchery go into the candles? Are there prayers beforehand? Have we sacrificed anyone to make a candle? That's really the part that I want to know, is how many people, and hopefully they were all bad people that were just boo.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking a step further, into the candles and putting my own spin on things, I actually well, for one, I outgrew the business from where I live in Connecticut, and my lab is up in New Hampshire. So now I have to travel to have everything there. So when I get done with big batches, because I make the batches and then I load up my car and I travel all over the US doing shows. I do a private saging ceremony, and by that I put my intentions into them. And then I do top it with, herbs and, different flowers and things that I've collected outside my house. And kind of put that, I sprinkle it onto the top. It's like good juju for, everyone else's private sanctuaries. And a lot of people say that they can feel that when purchasing, my candles and looking at them at shows. Um, so it's just an incredible feeling that I can put, my 110% energy into something and everyone else can pick that up.
No, that is so true, and it is absolutely a fantastic thing. Anytime you can put yourself and your surroundings into what you're doing, it's one of the most freeing things you could possibly do. But what was really the choice that made it like, okay, candles is my thing? We you started dabbling with it, a couple years ago, and now you're doing it in the full-time aspect of it, so much so that you have to travel out of state to make the candles, which is kind of dope. I'd love to dive a little bit more into that as well, and what the lab situation is like, because I want to know everything. I'm just one of those people. But what was it was like, okay, candles are that thing, because a lot of people will look at candles and be like, oh, that's just the thing that I use when the power goes out. But for a lot more people, candles are this very personal thing, whether you are meditating or you're doing your yoga or you're just had a bad day and you just need the scent of uh, violet or lavender to calm you down.
Mhm.
You know, what was like, okay, candles are my thing. Did you grow up like loving candles?
Yeah, so at a very, very young age, I actually had a childhood best friend who lived a couple houses down, and her mom was like obsessed with candles. Every time I went to her house, after school when we were just kids, like every room had a candle, and she always had scents that I absolutely loved. And it was just her thing to always, like, every season go stock up and burn them. And then it kind of turned into, when we did holidays, with my childhood best friend and my birthdays, I was always getting gifted, candles.
Mhm.
And of course, being that age, I would go home and say, Mom, I want to burn this. So then, I could only burn it like my mom was home, just to make sure nothing happens or my cat doesn't knock it over.
Right.
Um, so that's kind of where it really stemmed from. And ever since then, I always had candles. I come home from work, or if I'm cleaning, or if I have friends over, that was just one of my staples about
Mhm.
me.
Right.
Hmm.
That's actually really interesting, because a lot of people would, again, they don't think about candles for anything else other than if the lights go out.
Right.
But there are so many of these different uses and reasonings behind them. um so I'm impressed, I have to say. High
Oh,
five.
thank you.
Of course, of course. Now, when you're doing like these different designs and different things like that, we don't want you to tell all of your secrets, but if you could, give us a one or two little secrets, that'd be really dope. Is there something like in particular, like you didn't know it, you did state that you'll add some flowers from around your house, or some of the gravel or something along those lines, that is a true piece of you into each candle. Is there a particular method that you prefer in making candles, or are you just kind of in that traditional candle making type of way?
I guess you could say traditional candle making um is what I do. But I would also like to add in, as far as candle making, because there is a lot of science behind it
Hmm.
as well. Anyone can go on YouTube and watch someone make it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, let me go do this. To be where I am today, I also have had a mentor
Hmm.
who has shown me the DNA of like making perfect uh, products that her and I will go to our graves. We don't disclose like what exactly goes in them, how much
Hmm.
of what temperatures it's at. But also me diving into making them myself versus what I was burning growing up is the different type of waxes
Hmm.
that, unfortunately, the ones that I was burning had awful, chemicals in them and stuff like that. So my line is, you know, they are soy based. It is USA clean ingredients. I use, lead free, wicks. So it is a healthier, choice in your atmosphere to burn as well, which I am always educating people about. I actually just made a post recently how some of the stuff, in the big retail stores, that they're kind of not really telling you what's in it. And they're like, just not being honest. So, I don't want to say, names of big retail stores, but
Of course.
in the big markets, they have toxins relating to diesel fuel, for an example.
Ooh.
And, you know, obviously you don't want to have that around animals, babies, humans,
Right.
us. So as far as my stuff, that is 100%, it's okay to have around animals. It's okay to have around, little humans that are just born, and us and everything like that. And I've also noticed with the leftovers that I've had from big retail stores, I get a massive headache now
Mm-hmm.
because I've gone so long not burning something like that. And then when I reintroduce myself to it, I have to give it away, throw it out, gift it to someone,
Right.
because I can't have it.
Mhm.
Well, I think that's so super interesting because actually, Preston and I were talking about, all the things that the government lets into, some of our mass-produced things, and like I kind of broke his heart when we get into chocolates, and some of the hidden ingredients that's allowed into a chocolate. He was very mad at me that
Yeah.
he was very very mad at me that I revealed those secrets. But it's so super interesting is all of these things are horrible for us. Like they're not good.
Right.
And it's shockingly that we have existed this long. You know
Hmm.
what like it's
Yeah,
like wow,
absolutely.
for the longest period of time, something as simple as our breakfast cereal was actually out there that could seriously do some damage to us.
Hmm.
Or the candles in which you're burning while you're taking that wonderful bubble bath trying to calm down could actually be something that's adding to the stress in your life and helping your body deteriorate.
Correct.
Um, how did you get into that knowledge? Because now I am like this is like home for me. I was like, "Ooh, conspiracy theories and truth. Let's go."
Well, with my mentor, guiding me and assisting me into everything, she basically said, this is we're changing over from the norm, as people would say, from what they are used to with other waxes. And she said, we're gonna do this because of A, B, C, and D.
Right.
So I said, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, I just started researching stuff on my own, and then really like diving into like what the differences are. And now being, because I burn my own candles now, and I can tell, what exactly, if you put something in front of me and you burn two of them, you said which one is which, I would absolutely tell you which one is which and why.
Mhm.
Um, Also, if I see, other people making candles, I can kind of see like I can always already tell what they're using. I could tell like what wicks they're using, what size they're using. Um, and then I can judge it where the performance of it, will it burn properly, or is this just going to saturate in a pool of wax and burn out and waste my money?
Right.
Um, so again, there's a lot of science behind it too. And there's percentage of like how much oil you do put in it. So like
Mhm.
these big retail stores, they'll put, for an example, uh 3 to 5% fragrance in it. And, for me, I'll put the whole 10%. So when first time buyers will say, oh my God, like I can actually smell this, I can enjoy it, it's not overpowering, versus what I had just bought a couple months in the store and it's been lit for 5 hours and I can't smell it.
Mhm. No, see, I think that's super interesting because you would think that a lot of like the big box stores and they would probably try to over scent, and here they are, under scenting and just using enough to get by. Do you have any particular idea or behind that reasoning, or is it just for them to save cost?
It's definitely saving costs, and there is some brands from the big box stores that do overload it as well. So, and that's where the headache will come from, because now it's all these cheap ingredients, from out of the US. They're just oversaturating that, and that's, I actually did an experiment in my house once where I had it lit. I have a finish downstairs. So I put it down there, and within an hour, my entire house smelled like strawberry. And I'm like, that's not normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Well,
so I
I
put
mean,
it
it's
in
normal.
the
It's normal if you're strawberry shortcake, then your house should always smell like strawberries,
Yeah.
and that's fun. At least that's what they told me. I never actually hung out with strawberry shortcake, but I hear
Mhm.
I hear she's a gas.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so now, when you're making these candles, are they just regular candles? Are they in any type of specific molds? Is it like, I don't know, is it like Gandalf the gray? Do you have like the Gandalf the gray thing standing there with the staff, or are these just like the regular looking candles that you get?
Yeah, they're like the regular looking ones. Depending what shows I'm working, that kind of I make like different sizes. So I
Mhm.
have an 8-ounce tin unit or vessel is what you would probably call it. Then I also have, glass ones, and then sometimes I'll do limited edition. Like this past fall, I had these like nice, like black matte ones, which I might bring back next fall because those were a big hit. A lot of people liked them. Um, and then I also like to collect vintage glass and
Mm.
try to like repurpose that. So again, I will go support a local business, buy some of those, reuse them, and give, a second life to them. And the person can either come back to me and I can refill it for them, or they could use it for whatever they want to use.
That's awesome. You offer the refill aspect of it. That
Yep.
is so cool because you'll see that with a lot of some of the smaller stores. You'll see that even like some of the grocery stores, one that will remain nameless. But you can bring in your own vessels and you can fill it up with olive oil or peanut butter or all
Mhm.
these different type of things. And it's that reuse factor that is really super important, especially as we are moving forward as a society, because there's a whole lot of garbage that's out there. And I love the fact that you're repurposing glass. So what's your favorite type of candle? Now I want to know like what your favorite child is. So
Like
what's your
my
favorite
favorite
type of
scent.
candle? Yeah, sure. It's your favorite scent. Let's go
So
favorite scent.
personally, I'm a huge fan of bakery scents. Anything that smells like cake or, even like fresh fruit. I do like to switch it up every once in a while, or with holiday, I will have, a pine one, in my house, or lavender. But yeah, I gear towards like bakery, sweet scents. Um, but once in a while I will switch it up. But it's so nice because when I do switch it up,
Right.
and then like when I go back to that vanilla one, I'm like, oh my God, it's just like I can't get enough of it.
Well, see, I love how you actually kind of brought that up because now I'm gonna peel back the onion of what vanilla is for regular industry and community, because there has been a very big vanilla beans scarce. So
Mm.
a lot of the places that they get the vanilla scent from, do you know where that's from?
Uh Not off the top of my head. I probably do, but being put on the
Yeah,
spot.
you're not gonna like it. It's actually from a badger's anus.
Yes.
It's a gland, so that's what vanilla is, and for the
Speaking
artificial
of stuff
vanilla
that's
flavor.
scary, Rachel, tell me about the flaunting haunt. That sounds a real thing you're doing right now. But I think you go. It's you and your friend Mary, who's from Discovery Channel, and you do a whole bunch of great stuff going out there. Please just tell our
Yeah,
listeners about that. I heard. I was reading
sure.
about that. It looks really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back from, my root of being a makeup artist,
Hmm.
I work a lot with a lot of people from the paranormal community.
Yeah.
I do a lot of shows in that field.
Hmm.
And long story short, Mary Jo Chudley, she's been on TV a whole bunch of times. I've met her, being on the road, and her and I
And
just
also,
got
we're being on
talking.
WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made EZ Blues. Rachel, my apologies. This is the protocol. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yep. And we just got kind of brainstorming, and I always dive back into makeups in some shape or form.
Hmm.
And I just had this idea come to me one day, and I just said, hey, like, what if we rent out, haunted locations? And for the first 2 hours, I will teach Victorian era makeup.
Oh, wow.
Reason being is we want to connect to the other side, and see, possible activity, because that's how they did their makeup back then. We also, all the females will come and wear black dresses. So it gives me the time to teach again, with my brushes and everything, and I work on a live model, do a little history lesson,
Okay.
and then we kind of break for dinner, and then that's when Mary Jo has all of her paranormal equipment, and we do an overnight investigation with everyone. All the ones we've done so far have been sold out within 24 hours to a week, depending
That's
on the
great. Great to hear.
location.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we are going to the Conjuring House in April. We
Oh,
sold
boy.
out in 24 hours. We actually had to add on a second day, which was pretty amazing. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I hear Connecticut has a lot of haunted spots, and I'm
Yeah.
okay at the comfortability of my own home, so I'm all right. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
That's
usually
not.
around
That,
this time.
yeah, that's not my cup of tea. But I fully support people who are brave enough to do that, and much kudos to you. It's just not my thing. I like the Victorian era makeup though. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Now, did you like do the people's hair, and did you go like how all out did you go with this?
So I'm
Hmm?
one of those where it's either hair or makeup. I'm a makeup girl.
All right, I
So
understand.
you describe, how they did have their makeup back then.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, how they had their hair back then.
Yeah, of course.
So, they come to the location in a
Hmm.
Victorian themed black dress with no makeup on. I do the live demo, and then I put out little mirrors in front of everyone. So I go step by step with them. And then of course I walk around if anyone needs assistance.
That's cool.
Yeah, all the girls have loved it. It seems to be working. We are looking into going to New Orleans in the future.
Oh, that's a
So
good location.
we're really
Yeah.
you know, we're really trying to, just do stuff that, go to locations that
Mm,
people haven't really gone to and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and even with Candle Witch Co.,
mm,
it's not even it's more than just makeup and candles.
yeah.
I've also, been putting on my own events. Back in October, I put on a spooky ladies night, which
Mm,
was all female fronted businesses.
mm,
Um, and it was a great turnout. We did two of them so far, and I handpick, who I think would match the theme, and has, put their heart and soul into something, because I really recognize that with the local community, um, to do that. I am also currently
mm.
working on what's coming up in April is my burlesque show that's called Hottie Candle Witch Co. presents Hotties and Hellions. So it's gonna be, burlesque, freak show. We're gonna have some bands, vendors. Chris Beatty from Hatebreed is actually my sponsor for it. Very
Wow.
blessed to have him on board. So
Cool.
there's a lot for Candle Witch.
No, that's great to hear. And you're definitely doing a lot of stuff. And how many people are part of your team? Is it just you? Because you're telling us all these amazing things. Like
You ready
It,
for
it,
this?
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Yes. Yeah. Bring it.
so it is just me.
Wow.
Um, but I did
Uh,
this year go ahead and I hired a assistant to
Yeah.
help me out on shows. Like if I had gotten double booked, she'll be at one and I'll be at the other. I also just hired officially a shipping girl. So I'll,
Okay.
she'll come over and box everything up because I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
You got a lot of hats on. I mean, you're going out of state, making your product. You're coming right back to CT. You're doing shows, doing a lot of stuff for your community. I know you got some stuff in the beer racks coming up in April, and that's a lot of stuff to fill. Like, I'm not even going to ask if you get any sleep. You just keep on going. I mean, it's crazy. You got like some type of battery inside you. It's insane.
I do. I have a drive. I can't even explain it. And also I am planning my wedding.
Oh, good for you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
So,
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So on top of Candle Witch and running around 100 miles per hour, I am also planning a very, our day as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So like yesterday we had meetings, with our photographer and stuff like that. And then I come home, and then I'm back to Candle Witch, And a lot of people, they get inspiration from me and I'm very honored.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't know how much I have to sacrifice for this.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
My phone goes off all day long, late night, early morning.
Oh yeah.
When I'm watching TV, when I'm eating dinner, my phone, I have to answer it. There is times, where I do phone down and I focus in and, I do watch horror movies, with my fiance with our little cat, our little rescue. I do have a life. It's just limited.
No, you're working for the life you had. You're working for the life you had.
Right. And it takes a lot.
Yeah. So you can't say like I don't have a life. Can't say that.
Yeah, and also let's give you some flowers too, because you're working your own dream. There are a lot of people who are putting in the same hours that you're putting in working for someone else.
Yeah.
And having their dream highlighted instead of their own and putting their own dreams and feelings towards the back line. So yeah, you've been given the ball and of course you're gonna run with it and you're knocking it out of the park.
You only got one life.
Exactly. See, usually when we hear like interesting things that our guests are going to do, we're like, oh, when's the next one? We're totally going to go. And then you said it was like haunted and different things, and both Preston and I are like, we're not going, but
I'll be there in spirit for the haunted place.
You'll be there in spirit. You'll be at the seance in spirit.
Yeah, I'll be there in spirit. That's in spirit. There
funny.
You go.
Well, at least we know we'll be at the burlesque show. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Come on by. It's definitely going to be a good time. I can't wait for that one.
Now,
that has been in the works for around 2 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like when I do something, it's at least 6 months of it brewing like in my head.
Yeah.
I can't just wake up, because then you're going to miss steps. And then I feel like that's where a lot of people think that they can do something and then like they miss. So I always try to cover, all areas when doing something. And again, if I do, I'm human,
Of course,
I can always,
yeah,
for the next time, note it in my head and say, okay, back to the drawing board. If something didn't work out, you can only go, further into something, and if something doesn't work out, you have to think like, what steps did I miss? And it happens. And, just because I don't advertise or say it on social media, I mean, I've had setbacks. I've had people, make remarks about me. I've had people, don't believe in what I'm doing, and that's okay. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and whatever, vice versa. But what's funny though is I am going on year 4, and I feel like some people who didn't maybe necessarily believe in me back then, are seeing like what it is I'm doing now. And I'm actually hearing from people, like they come out of the woodwork and they say like, my God, like, maybe I was wrong about you. And I'm
there
like,
you
hi.
Go. We're the non-believers.
Well,
Yeah.
it's also, look, let's be real. We are an entrepreneurs type show, so we have these stories all the time. But in our regular lives, when your friend's like, yeah, I'm not gonna, go and do this, regular particular job. I'm going to go and make candles myself. We
Mhm.
have been programmed as a society to be like, that's a horrible idea. I hope you have a fallback plan. Please, for the love of God, do something better for yourself.
Yeah.
But you put the work in, and you're at your year 4. They say sometimes with small businesses it takes at least 5 years before you're in the green and really making profit, or even in the black where you're making super amounts of profit.
Right.
But you've been able to really establish this brand in not the conventional ways. It's not like you fought to be in any box store or anything like that. You've gone out there and said, this is my business. I represent my business, and I'm going to engage with my customers in full service. So I think that is what really has brought you out beyond. I remember running into you at an art school event. There are certain different events. Have you been to Witch Bitch yet?
Yes.
All right.
Virginia is
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
We talk when we can, like I'll text her, but her and I, we're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
You sometimes I'll message her late at night, and then like she'll get back to me before she opens up the store, because
Right.
it's like those couple of minutes before
Mm-hmm.
she has to be the face of, the store for the day. Yeah, they are such good people. I actually did a pop-up there for holiday. I love
Mm-hmm.
their location. I wish her nothing but success.
Of
She's
course.
just really amazing.
See, that's honestly, I automatically thought of that when you said you were doing the pop-ups for all women, all women businesses and different things like that. It's a perfect marriage. So I want to make sure that you guys are talking. I'm
Yeah,
very I'm a very big
absolutely.
fan of aligning the people in with the right people and making sure that people are being taken care of. So I'm glad I didn't have to make that connection, but
Yeah.
it's already been made, and that is super califragile awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Now you say you have the event in April. You've got two, actually technically three big events in April. You have the show, and then you also have your next the Conjuring House, where you got to spend those 2 days there.
Yes.
What other spots can people go and find your product, not just online, like in person, so that they have the opportunity to sit and talk with you?
Um, yes. So from January is kind of like my downtime where I
Mhm.
regroup everything and reset, what I'm gonna do for the year.
Right.
Um, with my busy schedule and like wedding planning and stuff, I will definitely have a table at the Beer Axe for April 6th. That might be my first appearance of the year.
Mhm. Okay.
Not 100% sure. But yeah, people can definitely come in and see me and talk to me as run around the whole night trying to run this entire big event. Um, yeah, and then usually I'm booked out a year plus in
Right.
advance.
That's good.
I am emceeing a occult show out in Salem for, next fall,
Mm.
Nice.
which is gonna be a nice it's add to my resume under my belt. I've never emceed a show before, but I feel like, I can do that, and they asked, and I will come in and do what they want. So that would be cool to do. Flyers up on my social media. But I'm always around. You know, I've been in the grocery store, in the cereal aisle, and I'll run into a bunch of people, and then we just stop for like a half hour, and I'm just talking about things and letting them know what's going on and stuff.
Mhm.
I run into people everywhere too. So even if I'm not at a show, it's guaranteed I will bump into somebody somewhere.
So what you're saying is you're kind of like 7-Eleven. You're not
Yeah.
always doing business, but you're always open.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then, even if I don't have anything listed on my website, people will contact me and will say, when can I get that sent? I haven't seen it. You haven't really promoted it. And even if I don't have some, I will get it out to you,
Right.
you know. Um, So I'm just working on, new scents, bringing back old scents, favorites, to a lot of people. And that's kind of the thing with candle making is you never really know what scents are gonna sell. I mean, I've had stuff that wouldn't sell one season, and
Right.
then the next season I'm out on the road and they're all gone. I mean,
Right.
it's just interesting like that too. What exactly people want. Um, so that's kind of, a gamble of, because again, that's my own money being invested.
Hmm.
You just kind of hope it's a win-win, you know.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm always busy, but everybody knows, how to contact me, and I always respond right away.
Hmm.
Um, because again, if I don't my ear is I never want to miss anything either.
Right.
Um, sometimes I do lose sleep about it, but that all goes with the territory. Um, 4 years ago, I'm sorry, 3 years ago, I left my full-time makeup artist job in retail, and
Hmm.
I've been, doing my thing since then. I put a bunch of money in between my mattress and I left my job and I hoped for the best. And
Right.
I've worked very hard to get where I am today. Um, I also have another mentor who is my tattoo artist at Grindhouse in Milford, Connecticut.
Right.
He helps me, with my flyers, my logo. He actually made my logo.
Okay, cool.
So very blessed to have him in my life. I actually had someone from Florida travel up to Connecticut to get my logo tattooed on him.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So to have someone walking around, with my logo, by the person who made it for me and, how far Candle Witch has come is very, it makes me speechless.
In a
I'm
short
like,
amount of time, too.
yeah, I'm like, you beat me. I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna put it on my neck or something in the future, but you know. But yeah, been um it's been a very blood,
Mm.
sweat, and tears, happy, sad, angry. People who run small businesses don't always express how many meltdowns they go through, but on social
Hmm.
media they make it look like it's, a sunny day every day when it's not.
Right.
Um, since quitting my retail job, I've been my own, accountant. I've been my own, bank person. You know, I've never had to do like inventory. I've never had to like there's so many things I do now that ask me 10 years ago, I'd say you're crazy.
Right.
I would have never thought I would have, an assistant helping me on shows. I would have never thought I had a
Right.
shipping person, but
Mm.
that's what it is. And I have people who do message me who, want advice as far as running their own business. And I've thought about doing like a seminar thing,
Hmm.
um, getting people together and saying, if you are really serious about this or these are things to think of, I have no problem helping people either
Yeah.
and suggesting things, but you have to want it.
Yeah, you have
Right.
to you have to be out there and doing it. You just can't just listen to people and just expect
Yeah.
results.
I
Well,
had
and
someone, contact me. They wanted to quit their full-time job and do something
Mm.
and open up their own shop. And they thought like they had it all figured out. And I literally listed 20 different things that they never even thought of.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what I mean? And they were like, thank you so much for, taking the time because they would have, uh, it would be a dead end on them. They would
Mm.
hmm
have been stuck, put all this money
right.
out, getting a bank loan and all this,
Yeah.
for nothing. So it is hard, but it is very, very rewarding.
Right.
Um, and I did work in music back in '07 for a couple years. I worked at
Mm.
a concert venue. So a lot of the bands back then, um, I have formed friendships, and stuff like that. And some of the real, famous ones or national ones, however you want to label it. And when I talk to them and stuff, it's just kind of like the full circle of I've idolized them growing up.
Right.
And now they're coming back at me and they're hitting me up and they buy my candles and they want to, promote me on their social media and stuff, which is very like I'd be lying if I didn't shed a tear about that, you know.
Please don't
Right.
share a tear.
I'm
We're on
very
WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, I'm a partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made. EZ BlueZ is in the building. Rachel, what have been some of your favorite conventions to go to? I mean, you said you were doing a lot of shows, promoting, networking this whole entire time when you just started your whole journey. What have been some of your favorite shows? Because like usually when you go to these shows, the conventions that relate to you and similar to your entrance, your personality and your energy is cranked up a little louder.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the ones that I've really enjoyed, um, it would be the tattoo 3-day festival out in Jersey.
Mm.
Jersey.
Mm.
Um,
Sounds like Easy's alley.
yeah,
Oh yeah, dude, I'm down.
yeah,
I have
no,
not been to a tattoo convention yet. That's a problem.
That's totally
yeah.
you. You would get lost.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. There's a lot of entertainment. There's great people. When I'm out at this Jersey one, it's right on the water in Asbury. It's a great location. When the weather's nice, it's usually like in June. This will be my third year going out there again. The people who run it, they treat you. We're like a road family. They take you in with open arms. Make sure you're okay, make sure you're not getting harassed by anyone. So they're really very good people to work with, and I will always go back to them. Another show I really like working would probably be the Warrens Paracon.
Hmm.
That is in Connecticut. I'm going on year 4 now, which they're actually taking it to Gettysburg. Um,
Wow.
So, yeah, so they've been nothing, but open arms with me. They're
Mm.
the ones with the famous Annabelle doll for Ed and
Hmm.
Lorraine Warren. God rest their souls. They were the first for, a lot of paranormal stuff and do house calls, and they went to the Conjuring house and all that. So that's always fun to do. And that's where I've met a lot of people as well. People who I've looked up to or who, I watch at home on TV are actually some of my friends now, which is pretty crazy. And then there is a spooky um event I go up to in Albany, New York. This girl Kayla runs events up there. She's, nothing but love. I hit that when I can. But yeah, I did. The farthest I've gone with Candlewitch was South Carolina last March. I did a paranormal event out there. It was nice too, because again, it's March up here, but you go down there, you get the sun again. Um,
Yeah.
my dad actually trooped out with me for that one. So again, I got to
Okay.
spend some time with him. But yeah, I'm always open to, going, farther. And I have like a serial killer map on my wall with the pins of
Oh
like
my
where I haven't
goodness.
been and where where I want to go.
I didn't even know there
Um,
was a map that I know they make maps for that. You just
Well,
totally
no.
opened my eyes.
First of all, there are maps for like all the serial killers and some of the spots that they've gone. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't want the
there's
map.
full tours, bro. There's full tours. We should totally go on a tour.
You should totally go. I'm not going. No, I'm okay.
Dude, they're all gone already.
I know, and I'll be gone on that tour as
there's
well.
there's some places too.
Yeah.
Like I've never been to California,
Mhm.
but my stuff is being sold out
Right.
there. Florida, I have a friend who runs a escape room in Orlando,
That's
and
cool.
she sells me candles out front. And I've been to Florida, but haven't been to the escape room yet. So that's on my bucket list to go. So
Okay.
it's kind of cool too, people who follow me, around the US and stuff have that option to,
Right.
go to Florida and pick some gear up.
They're like, yeah, you can't make it out to Connecticut for one of these cons or something. Then you should totally go to Florida to this
Yeah.
escape room and get my stuff, and you can
Yep.
totally rock. You can rock and roll with the Florida part of me.
Yep.
Um,
What about the West
so
Coast?
now what? Yeah, I was gonna say, what
Yeah.
is the future? What does the future hold? Are we looking at a strong West Coast? Are you gonna go on a West Coast tour?
West Coast is definitely on the list to
Mm.
do. And definitely making it out to like New Orleans out that way. So I'm just kind of, I don't even know what kind of shape that would be. So I'm never stopping.
Mhm.
I'm in it, you know, I'm in it for the long haul. I've been places too where I've slept in the backseat of my car,
Mm.
just
Right,
because I can't afford a hotel room, but I want to be somewhere. So,
right.
and then when they open doors, I run in the bathroom, put all my makeup on. Um, but that's part of being on the road too. You
Mhm.
Right.
gotta, there's some people, again, who wanna, they think I live this glamorous life, and I'm like, well, I sleep in my car sometimes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
drive out back with, leather seats and stuff, so it's not all, bad with tinted windows. So I am safe.
Right.
It's just some of those things you have to just give up. Like there was one show I was working in a big city, and I was outside, or I was in the city, but I was about 12 miles out from the venue. And that weekend, they had a running marathon and they blocked off all the roads. So I had to leave my hotel at like 3 o'clock in the morning and go sleep outside the venue. So, like, again, it's just these certain things that, I had to do. And I don't cry about it. It's just, it comes with what I want to do.
Well,
So.
see, that's what blows my mind because you would think the venue would know that and like be like, hey, some of those vendors that need to stay over, we're just gonna open up for you so you're not sleeping on the freaking sidewalk.
I know. I
You know.
think they had booked it prior to like, I think the marathon was booked after like they announced their show, but it's okay though. I mean, they did reach out to me and say like, "Oh my God, why didn't you say anything?" And I'm just like, I don't like to complain. I just deal with it, you know.
Well, now the big question is because it seems as such an incredible part of your personality. You've now referenced it twice when dealing with New Orleans. Are you afraid that if you go to New Orleans, you're never coming back?
It, it's possible. I've always been so interested by it, and it's definitely, on the pit list. Even my fiance has never been there, so that's what makes it all that much more exciting that, I can go. And then I do actually have someone who lives in Mississippi, so I guess it's kind of, I'm an hour and a half from Manhattan, so it would be like the same comparison with where she's located. So again, like I could just stay with her, you know what I mean? When I go
Definitely.
out there and save. So you always gotta like try and find like couches to get on, instead
Right.
of all the hotel fees. But I'm definitely interested, like, you know, in what they have out there, like all the cemeteries and like all the voodoo stuff and like all the haunted place. Like I'm all about it. I'm like, just bring me. Just throw it at me. I'm ready.
Plus, you'll collect all the dirt for the the New Orleans versions of the candles that you'll have. It'll be a particular line, which is absolutely incredible. But unfortunately, they are getting to the point where they are trying to pull the Apollo curtains on us, and it's about to run out, as they like to say. So at this point in time, we want to give this rest of the show 100% to you. How people can get in touch with you, how they can, the next event in which they can find you at, which is at the BRX, but we'll talk about that in a little bit more. um, all your social medias, how they can follow you, and how they can support you as a business person, and one thing in which you are grateful for.
Okay, so you can definitely find me on Instagram, and that is Candle Witch, period, CO. I'm usually on that more than like a lot of other social media platforms. Facebook, you can just type in Rachel King. That's my personal account, but again, I accept everyone on there. I don't have a Candle Witch page on Facebook. So if you type it in, it's someone else's, it's not me. I've already been down this road 100 times. And that girl's blocked, by the way. Um, I had an issue with her. Um, that's really like the main two. If you access my Instagram, my email is on there, so you can direct message me on Instagram, or if you feel more comfortable using my email, by all means, use my email.
Now, is there any particular type of website that they can go in and look at your inventory?
I do have my Etsy, which the link is on my Instagram.
Perfect.
I'm slowly phasing that out to be working on my own website, because Etsy, that's a whole other topic. Don't get me started. And my store is currently empty on there because, again, it's January, so I have to like go back in and redo that. It's been a high request that I work on a black metal collection, so that might be in the near future. But that's a lot. So a lot of the times too, I sell out before I can have an option to put it online. So that's another thing too, as to why my store is always half empty, because I do so much in-person transactions, you know, so
Right.
it's like by the time that's an option, it's not an option. Again, you could find me April 6th at the Beerax. Please come out to my show, support all, you know, artists that are coming in from out of Connecticut. We have some local vendors. I'm going to have a food truck. It's definitely going to be a good time. I'm definitely putting on something that Connecticut has never seen before. I've taken a lot of entertainment from being on the road, and I'm kind of piecing it all together to show Connecticut what's up, to show them what Candle Witch is all about. Yeah, and then just stay tuned for whatever I have coming. And again, with all the things that I have listed as to what I'm doing, there's about 20 other things that I haven't mentioned.
That's awesome.
Rachel, we thank you for being a part of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. On WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City Made, Easy News.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.